The conference hall on Europa Station fell silent as Dr. James Reed stepped to the podium. Behind him, a massive screen displayed something that had eluded humanity for 3 centuries, a working faster-than-light engine. "Ladies and gentlemen," Reed began, his voice steady despite the weight of the moment. "We have done it." The room erupted in applause, but Reed raised his hand for silence. He knew the real test was yet to come. The mathematics worked. The simulations were perfect. But would it actually function in the cold reality of space? 3 months earlier, humanity had been stuck. Their colony ships crawled through space at a fraction of light speed, taking generations to reach even the nearest stars. Other species in the galaxy possessed FTL technology, but they guarded their secrets jealously. The Galactic Council had made it clear: humanity must discover the secret themselves, or remain forever confined to their small corner of space. The aliens thought humans would take thousands of years to solve the puzzle. They were wrong. Reed's team had approached the problem differently. While other species built their drives using exotic matter and dimensional folding, humanity went back to basics. They studied the fundamental nature of space itself, treating it not as an obstacle, but as a medium to be understood. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. A young engineer named Tom Harris had been working on quantum communication systems when he noticed something strange. Entangled particles didn't just share information instantly. They created tiny ripples in the fabric of space-time itself. What if those ripples could be amplified? The team worked in secret, knowing that if word leaked to the Galactic Council, there would be interference. The aliens had rules about technological development, restrictions designed to keep younger species safe. But humanity had never been good at following rules. They didn't help right. The prototype drive sat in a heavily guarded facility on Earth's moon. It was smaller than anyone expected, barely the size of a shipping container. Traditional FTL drives from other species filled entire engine rooms. The human version was elegant, almost simple. "The test flight is scheduled for tomorrow," Reed continued, bringing up a star chart on the screen. "We will travel from Earth to Proxima Centauri and back. 4.2 light years each way. Travel time, 17 minutes total." The audience gasped. The fastest alien ships took nearly 2 days to cover that distance. Captain Lisa Morgan sat in the front row, her hands gripping the armrests of her chair. She would pilot the test ship, a small craft called the Pathfinder. She had trained for months, running simulations until she could operate every system blindfolded. But simulation was different from reality. If something went wrong at faster-than-light speeds, there would be no rescue, no second chances. After the presentation, Morgan found Reed in the observation deck, staring at Earth below. The blue planet hung in space like a jewel, beautiful and fragile. "Are you nervous?" she asked. Reed nodded. "Terrified." "If this fails, it won't fail," Morgan said firmly. "Your math is solid. The simulations are perfect. We've checked everything 1,000 times. The aliens will be watching," Reed said quietly. "They have monitoring stations throughout this sector. The moment we activate the drive, they'll know." "Good," Morgan replied with a slight smile. "Let them watch." The next morning, Morgan boarded the Pathfinder alone. The ship was small, designed for speed rather than comfort. The FTL drive hummed quietly in the engine bay. Its power cells charged and ready. Ground control ran through the final checklist. Everything was green. "Pathfinder, you are cleared for departure," the controller said. "Good luck, Captain." Morgan guided the ship away from the station, heading for open space. Her heart pounded as she activated the FTL drive's pre-ignition sequence. Numbers scrolled across her display. Systems coming online one by one. In orbit around a distant world, an alien monitoring station detected the unusual energy signature. Technicians rushed to their instruments, their three eyes widening in disbelief. "Impossible," one of them whispered. "That's a human ship. They don't have FTL technology." The station commander contacted the Galactic Council immediately. Within minutes, representatives from a dozen species were watching the Pathfinder on their screens, waiting to see if humanity had truly achieved the impossible. Morgan took a deep breath and pressed the activation button. The Pathfinder vanished. 17 seconds later, it reappeared in orbit around Proxima Centauri, 4.2 light-years away. The galaxy held its breath. Humanity had changed everything. Asterisk. The Galactic Council chamber had not seen this much chaos in 500 years. Ambassador Trell of the Vordian Empire slammed his appendage on the table, his scales flushing deep purple with agitation. "This is unprecedented. The humans have only been in space for 300 years. 300. It took my people 4,000 years to develop FTL capability." Across the vast circular table, representatives from 40 different species argued loudly. Some were angry, others fearful, and a few were quietly impressed. High Chancellor Mira, a tall being with silver skin and calm black eyes, raised her hand for silence. The room gradually quieted. "The facts are clear," she said, her voice carrying authority. The human ship traveled to Proxima Centauri and back in 17 minutes. Our fastest vessels would require 42 hours for the same journey. This is not a minor achievement. This changes the balance of power in the galaxy. On Earth, celebrations had erupted in every major city. Millions of people gathered in streets and public squares, watching the live feed as Captain Morgan returned safely to Europa Station. The impossible had become real, but not everyone was celebrating in the secure underground facility. Where the FTL drive had been developed, Dr. Reed sat in his office reviewing data from the test flight. Something bothered him, a small anomaly in the readings that didn't quite make sense. "Tom," Harris knocked on the door and entered without waiting for permission. The young engineer looked worried. "We have a problem," Harris said, pulling up a holographic display. During the jump, the drive created a detectable signature. It's like a fingerprint in space-time. Anyone with the right equipment can track it. Reed frowned. "How accurate is the tracking?" "Very. They can pinpoint our departure point, our destination, and the exact path we took through folded space." Harris paused. "If someone wanted to follow us or find Earth, this makes it incredibly easy." Reed felt his stomach tighten. Humanity had just announced their presence to the entire galaxy in the loudest way possible. And now they had left a trail pointing directly home. Meanwhile, aboard a massive warship at the edge of known space, Commander Dax studied the readings from the human test flight with intense interest. His species, the Krell, had been banned from Galactic Council space for the past century due to their aggressive expansion policies. But they still had eyes and ears throughout the galaxy. "Interesting," Dax muttered, his sharp teeth showing in what might have been a smile. "Very interesting indeed." His tactical officer approached. "Commander, our analysts have examined the human drive signature. It's unlike anything we've seen before. The power output is incredible, and the efficiency is far beyond current galactic standards. Can we acquire this technology?" Dax asked. "The humans have only one prototype. It's heavily guarded on their moon base. But," the officer hesitated, "if we could capture one of their ships after they begin production, we could reverse engineer the drive." Dax nodded slowly. The Krell had been searching for an advantage, something that would allow them to challenge the Galactic Council's dominance. This human technology might be exactly what they needed. Back at the Galactic Council, High Chancellor Mira called for order once again. "We must decide how to respond to this development," she announced. "Some of you have proposed immediate intervention. Others suggest we welcome humanity as an equal partner. And some," she glanced at several ambassadors who looked away, have suggested more aggressive options. Ambassador Kren of the Peaceful Delph Alliance spoke up, his voice soft but firm. The humans achieved this on their own. They followed our rules. They did not steal or cheat. By our own laws, they have earned the right to join us as equals. Earned? Trell spat. They are children playing with fire. They don't understand the dangers of FTL travel, the territories they might accidentally violate, the ancient boundaries they could cross. We should confiscate their drive before they cause a galactic incident. Several ambassadors nodded in agreement. High Chancellor Mira considered carefully. She had lived for 3 centuries and had seen many species rise to FTL capability. But none had done it this quickly, and none had built a drive this efficient on their first attempt. We will send a delegation to Earth, she decided. We will offer them membership in the Galactic Council, along with all the rights and responsibilities that entails. But we will also make clear the dangers they face. There are powers in this galaxy that do not respect Council law. She didn't mention the Krell specifically, but everyone in the room understood. The question was, would the warning come in time? The Galactic Council delegation arrived at Earth orbit 3 days later. Their flagship, the Harmony, was massive, over 2 kilometers long and gleaming with silver plating that reflected the sun's light. Smaller escort vessels surrounded it, a clear display of power meant to impress the humans. President Elena Martinez stood in the reception hall of the newly completed Earth Diplomatic Station, her advisors flanking her on both sides. She had prepared for this moment, knowing that first impressions would shape humanity's relationship with the galaxy for centuries to come. High Chancellor Mira materialized first, using a transport beam that shimmered with blue light. Behind her came 12 other ambassadors, representing the major powers of the Galactic Council. President Martinez, Myra said with a slight bow. On behalf of the Galactic Council, I bring greetings and an offer of partnership. Martinez returned the bow. High Chancellor, you honor us with your presence. Please, let us talk. In the conference room, Mira laid out the proposal. Humanity would receive full Council membership, access to galactic trade routes, and protection under Council law. In exchange, they would share the basic principles of their FTL technology and agree to abide by galactic treaties. We are not asking for your complete technical specifications, Mira clarified, noting the tension in the room. But we must ensure that all FTL-capable species follow certain safety protocols. There are regions of space that must not be disturbed, ancient sites that are protected, and boundaries that exist for good reason. Martinez nodded slowly. We understand, but we need guarantees that our sovereignty will be respected. We've worked hard for this achievement. We won't simply hand it over or allow others to dictate our future. Of course, Mira agreed. That is your right. But Ambassador Trell interrupted, his voice sharp. However, you must understand the reality of your situation. You are one small species with one small ship. There are empires in this galaxy that span thousands of star systems. Without Council protection, you are vulnerable. The threat was clear, even if wrapped in diplomatic language. Dr. Reed, who sat as technical advisor, spoke up for the first time. May I ask a question, High Chancellor? How many species in the Council have FTL drives more efficient than ours? The room went silent. Myra considered her answer carefully. None, she finally admitted. Your drive is the most efficient we have encountered in recorded history. Reed smiled slightly. Then perhaps Earth isn't as vulnerable as Ambassador Trell suggests. If we can build ships faster and more efficient than anyone else, that changes things considerably. Trell's scales flushed angry purple again, but Myra raised her hand to silence him. Dr. Reed makes a fair point, she said. However, efficiency means nothing if you lack the numbers and experience to defend yourselves. There are dangers in this galaxy you don't yet understand. As if to prove her point, alarms suddenly blared throughout the station. Captain Morgan's voice came over the communication system, urgent and controlled. Madam President, we have multiple unknown contacts emerging from FTL at the edge of the solar system. Configuration matches Krell warships. They're heading directly toward Earth. The conference room erupted in controlled chaos. The alien ambassadors looked at each other with concern. The Krell were not supposed to be anywhere near Council space, let alone Earth. Myra's expression hardened. How many ships? 15, Morgan reported. And they're fast. They'll reach Mars' orbit within the hour. President Martinez stood. High Chancellor, I assume the Council will assist us in defending against this threat? Of course, Mira said immediately. Commander, signal the Harmony to intercept. Wait, Dr. Reed interrupted. He turned to Martinez. Madam President, may I suggest an alternative? Martinez looked at him questioningly. The Pathfinder is still docked here, Reed continued. And we have 5 more FTL-capable ships that finished construction yesterday. We haven't announced them yet because we wanted to run more tests. But if Captain Morgan and our pilots are willing, we could respond to this threat ourselves. With 6 ships against 15? Trell scoffed. That's suicide. Reed's smile widened. Not if we're faster. Not if we can be anywhere in the solar system within seconds, while they take minutes. Speed and mobility can overcome superior numbers. Morgan's voice came through again. I'm willing, sir. And I know 5 other pilots who won't back down from this. Martinez looked at Myra. High Chancellor, with your permission, let us show you what humanity can do when challenged. Myra studied the human president for a long moment, then nodded. Very well. But my ships will stand ready to assist if needed. Understood, Martinez said. She activated her communication device. Captain Morgan, launch all FTL craft. Show these Krell why they should have stayed home. In the docking bay, Captain Morgan ran toward the Pathfinder. Her crew scrambling to prepare for launch. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity didn't just build fast ships. They knew how to fight. Asterisk.